So as I stated, we just watched this video, and this is where we're beginning today. I'm going to show you guys how to Photoshop and sort of overlay things on top of backgrounds and vice versa. Okay, so we're going to start looking at not just what a layer is in Photoshop, but how to actually edit layers and blend them together. Okay, and so we're going to start off just sort of, very existential like this, just trying to figure out how you blend something technically, but then we're going to move into how you can apply it to architectural stuff, architectural renderings. Okay, what questions do you have?
Do we turn that up, the three?
Yes. Just get a laptop for now while we're doing this. Yeah. All right, so anyway, you should have Photoshop open. What I'm going to do is just pull in a random background, and then I can pick any image of a person or thing to put in the sky, basically, okay? So let's do sky background like this. We're going to emulate the screaming guy in the sky. Let's try mountain and sky background. Ah, there we go, perfect. There we go. Look at that. We can put a screaming guy in the sky, right? All right. So we're doing this sort of just like really fast and dirty. Like we're not gonna try and make it technically accurate or anything like that. I just want to show you the layering skills. So feel free to just right-click and copy an image. Notice that when you right-click and copy an image and you go into Photoshop and you say File New, there's going to be a preset set of pixels. So that's really important because if you start a new file, whatever image is the most recent file that's copied to your clipboard, it's going to borrow the size of that image automatically. So if I hit OK and then Control V, it's going to paste and be fine. Okay. Yeah. You guys need a sec? Probably need a sec to find a really, really good screaming guy in the sky image, right? Yeah, well, yeah. Sure, kind of. All right, I'll give you a minute. All right, so the image I chose is this guy. I'm going to put him in the sky. But feel free to take a minute to grab whatever you want during the process of me explaining what we're doing, because it takes a little bit to explain. So anyway, I'm just going to right-click and copy this. And then when I go back into Photoshop, I'm going to just Control V and paste that one in. Okay. The resolution at this stage really isn't that critical, guys. So if it's a little bit small and it gets a little pixelated when you scale it up, that's fine. So anyway, what we're doing is we're looking at different ways to Photoshop this thing so that it looks like the guy is sort of floating in the sky. There are a few different ways of doing it. The first of which, you guys all right? Okay. The first of which is, I guess, just trying to sort of feather or kind of blend out the edges, and that's probably the most simple or rudimentary way. Okay, so let me just kind of get a scale that I'm looking for. You guys recall how to resize something, right? You right-click, go to Free Transform, and then you can sort of put it wherever you want it. Hold Shift to keep it proportional, and then hit Enter. All right, so that's my dude screaming in the sky. So the simplest way is to just take an eraser, and that's over here on the toolbar. It's this guy right there. And when you go up here to your selections in the top left corner, you'll see hard edge erasers and you'll see soft edge erasers. So what you would want to do is grab a soft edge one and then increase the size to something that's pretty large. And like I said, guys, this is going to seem like really, really overly simple this first time, but really you're just going to kind of erase everything around the outer edge. Okay, so that's like and for lack of a better term, that's like the dumbest way to do it, right? Meaning like it's not very complex. It's very simple. What I want to show you, though, is a few different ways to get images to be blended. So let me go back to the original image. One of the things that is a best practice for Photoshop is to try and retain the original images without having to erase them. Okay, and it'll seem a little bit redundant, I guess, or unnecessary to do it for something so simple, but later on in architectural renderings, I think you'll understand why it's important. So anyway, what we're going to work with is what's called layer masking. Layer masking allows us to erase certain portions of an image without actually modifying the original image itself. So I could do it a few ways. It doesn't matter if it's below this image or if it's above this image. I'm going to start with it above this image. So I'll go to Layer, Layer Mask, and I'm going to do this thing right here. You can't really see it on the projection, but it says Reveal All at the top. Okay, so what that does over here on the layer thing, you'll see that there's another little white box that shows up. Okay, and that's linked to the image that I pasted. You guys see that over here, right there. So what that is it's going to allow me to mask things out. So I'm going to grab my paintbrush tool and scale that up to about where the other one was, so like 200 or something like that. And I'm going to pull the color to black. Okay, and what black is going to allow me to do is function very much like an eraser. All right, now.
Sorry, Kevin, I'm a bit slow.
Yeah.
How do I get the eraser part going?
Go over here to the eraser tool. Oh, you can't see. You can't even see the toolbar over there.
Alright, so I was confused. Thank you.
Sorry, guys, it's cut off a little bit. Let me, if I maximize it, it gets cut off. There we go. All right, that's better. So the eraser tool's right here.
Of course.
Yeah. And then the size of the eraser you would change here, but also make sure you change it to not a hard edge but a soft edge.
Okay, for sure. Cool. Thanks, Kevin. You're a good man. I appreciate that.
All right. So anyway, the reason that is important is because we can use that to go back to the original image or modify the image, I guess, with more fluidity. So let's say for some reason I went through and I accidentally erased it a little bit too much, right? So I erased the right side of his hand, and during my critique, my professor says, I need you to fix that. The whole object needs to be there. I need to see the whole thing, whatever it is. Okay, because you used a layer mask, rather than having to go through the whole process of deleting this layer, re-importing, and re-erasing the edges, I can just go back to my layer mask, go back to white instead of black, and then I can sort of paint that image back in. So now I'm, whoops, still set to black. Why did that go black? There you go. So all you can do, or all you have to do, is just paint that image back in. Does that make sense? So you have your color set to black, and then it erases it, and you say, oh crap, I want that back. Let me go back here to white. I'm going to repaint this back in. Okay, so that's, it seems really simple right now, but it is an incredibly powerful thing. Like, layer masks are something that you will use time and time again throughout all of your education and professional life, assuming you would do any graphic work at all. So that's lesson 1 in Photoshop. What questions do you have?
So we have to apply that layer mask to a specific layer in order to do that, right?
Correct. Yep. Yeah.
I guess I wasn't paying attention, but what was
It happens before.
okay, it's not only me. The layer 2, do you see that the second I guess page?
This one?
Yeah, how did you get
Good question. So guys, in case any of you missed it, because it was like off the edge of the page or something, let me turn off that layer real quick so you can see. I'm going to work with layer 1. If you want to create a layer mask, go to select the layer you want to create it on, go to Layer, and say Layer Mask, and go to Reveal All. Okay?
and like what does it do?
Well, that allows you to start painting on top of it. So let me close the video and I'll just do a recap of what what that all was.